Okay, we have got to talk about episode 5 of Daredevil Born Again because it felt like a Marvel one-shot comic brought to life. Also, this will be a spoiler review, so here's your spoiler warning if you have not watched the episodes this week yet. Starting out with what I said earlier, this episode does feel like a Marvel one-shot comic brought to life in the best way possible. And the reason why I say that is because it is a completely self-contained robbery episode that I could see myself going back to in the future to watch on its own. It had some decent action and fight scenes, especially towards the end where Matt straight up breaks one of the robber's legs. Although I will mention that I am still not a fan of this show reusing the overly edited style of action that they used at the end of episode 2. It just really undercuts the flow of the fight scenes in this episode and at the end of episode 2, especially when this show gave me a direct comparison this week with them releasing it alongside episode 6, because the action in episode 6 is shot and edited significantly better. I really enjoyed Yusuf and Matt's dynamic all throughout this episode, and I really hope they pay off that line at some point about Yusuf having Matt over for dinner with his family sometime. I honestly don't care if it's in a future season of Daredevil or in Miss Marvel's own show, but get it done, Marvel. The St. Patrick's Day theme for this episode was fun, and it gave us some funny dialogue, like when the main robber told Detective Kim to tell him a joke so he'll free 3 more hostages, and when Matt Murdock perfectly replicated the robber's accents, showing us another one of his hidden talents. The scene where Matt strolls into the bank as a clueless blind guy was pretty funny, and I just love when he does things like that. We got another "I'm a really good lawyer" line from Matt this episode. I also liked how the story of the robbery wrapped up by the end of the episode by Matt dropping off the diamond and Yusuf's candy bowl on his desk. It just felt like a more traditional episode of TV, and it's another reason why I compared this to a Marvel one-shot comic. But overall, episode 5 of Daredevil Born Again was the shortest episode of the season so far, but it had no filler scenes. And it served its purpose well of putting Matt in a situation where he has to use his Daredevil-like skills right before he has to suit up in the next episode. Which is why I'm really glad that they did pair this up with episode 6 this week, because it would have been pretty frustrating if we had to wait another week for him to suit up as Daredevil. Like, I really do see what this story is trying to go for with Matt and Fisk being born again as their other halves, hence the title of the show. But I would be lying to myself if I said that I wouldn't be harsh on this week's episode if they didn't pair with episode 6. Which is why I'm pretty confident in saying that this show probably would work better on a binge, even though we're only a little over halfway through the season. But I'm not going to talk too much about episode 6 because I have a whole separate review video on this channel for that. So y'all let me know what y'all thought of these week's episodes, and make sure to follow for more Daredevil content.